Welcome everyone to your City Commission special meeting this evening. Please turn off or silence your cell phones at this meeting. Meetings are televised on YouTube for your viewing pleasure. I've lost my voice. Excuse me. All right, we are going to go ahead and open the meeting, so I need a motion to do that.
So move.
Second.
All right, motion's been made second. We'll begin voting with Commissioner Hingula.
Aye.
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 All right, motion's passed. All right, first up on our agenda this evening is a resolution for B2411 Star Bond Project Resolution of Support. At this time, I'll turn it over to Penny, and she'll invite up Rick, correct? Yep. All right.
Mayor and Commission, the item before you tonight is a resolution of support for a Star Bond project. Details for this tourism, restaurant, and retail project are in your packet. We will also receive a presentation in a minute from developer Rick Warner, who has worked on several successful Star Bond projects in other cities. I would like to draw your attention briefly to two items before Rick's presentation. One is a very minor update to the resolution to refer to Exhibit A. This just includes the list of the potential properties that will be included in the district along with maps. So there's a section of the resolution that just refers to that Exhibit A you have at your table. And then also just to note that while this action does start the process, it does not legally bind the city to the creation of the district or finalize any incentives processes. There will be upcoming public meetings and city commission actions during public meetings. This will be a longer process, but it's very exciting. We're happy to present this to you tonight. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Rick Warner and members of his team that would like to speak today.
Welcome, Mr. Warner. We're glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Mayor. So I'd like to start a couple things. One, there's no I in team, okay? And it took a big team to get to this point. And so first I want to start with Senator Clem. I went to Senator Clem on a totally different project. And I asked for help with legislation on a totally different project. And he said, hey, wait a minute. What about my city? What about you coming to Leavenworth? And my partner's a guy by the name of Dave Murphin out of Wichita, Kansas, billionaire. And we tend to work on fairly large projects. And so when I was a kid, I actually cleaned typewriters on the fort when I was 16 years old.
Wow.
And I drove up here from Kansas City every day and cleaned typewriters on the fort at 16. So had I been to Leavenworth? Yeah. Had I been to Bellis Field? We played high school football. So, but had I been up here lately, I hadn't been up here lately, no reason for me to go to the prison. So,
That's a good thing.
So when Jeff said to me, hey, what about my city? I gave a commitment that we would come up and look. And so Dave flew in and we did a tour and we liked what we saw. So then the next part of the team, I've got Mike Riley. Mike has been instrumental in helping us. I've known Mike and Riley's probably 40 years. And so Mike helped us acquire the site, is still helping us acquire some of the land. We've had great conversations, but like the mall site's under contract, a lot of the sites are under contract, but there's still some final things we have to tweak. So another part of the team is Mike Riley. Then I've brought two retail real estate brokers that Dave and I are going to partner with. And that's Adam Blue and Colby Henslick, and they're in the second row. And I don't have enough time. I get up every day at 2 in the morning. But I don't have enough time in the day to call like Old Navy and all these retailers. These guys are experts at calling on all these retailers. And so we brought them in, and I'm going to go through the maps in a minute and show you what they've come up with and what we think will happen there. But I wanted to just say, and then let's talk about the city. I come up here, the first meeting with Dave, and we meet with Scott and Penny, and God, it seemed like a nice city to us, and then all of a sudden I get the mayor showing up at the meetings. Okay, and I don't get a lot of mayors at meetings. The mayors are busy or not interested, it gets a lot further down the road, and so there's no I in team. This has been a huge team effort, and I just wanted to say I appreciate, again, we wouldn't be here at all without Jeff. And then Jeff, he got legislation through that basically says any mall that's dilapidated or unused qualifies for special star bond treatment. We also had to exempt Leavenworth. Leavenworth was part of the Kansas City, Johnson County star bond legislation, and it made it impossible basically for Leavenworth to do a star bond project. Jeff got that changed. And so because of those changes, but I was really asking Jeff to help me on a Wichita Mall, okay, that we didn't buy, that we didn't end up buying, okay? And so you never know how the road's gonna twist and turn. So before you, you've got a couple handouts. So if we'll start with the big orange handout. So this is the mall site. We've got the malls under contract. We've got 2 great restaurants that don't exist in Leavenworth that we're negotiating with to go in front of the mall. What retail are we gonna put on the mall site? Well, we've got lots of options, okay? So, Adam and Colby have talked to lots of retailers. More interest, frankly, than I thought I'd ever get. And so much interest that we've got the mall site, the Abellis or Abel's Field site, and then the
Ray Miller Park.
the park site, that we think will have more tennis still even for all that land. And so there's gonna be a balancing act. The park site's gonna take longer, but it's probably the best site for what I'll call smaller retail, like Old Navy. We've got some bigger boxes and think big sporting goods stores and things that could go on what I call the original mall site. And then I've got some attractions that'll go on the football field site. So I don't have a lot of, in the green packet, you'll see some boxes on here, but we haven't made those decisions yet. After the resolution tonight, Scott should have in his inbox.
I do.
Okay, the application that we would submit to the state, so it took the lawyers forever, but the lawyers finally got out the application that's drafted for the city and your lawyers to review. And then we'll submit to the state maybe as early, before Thanksgiving. So we'll have our formal application into the state.
Okay.
So we'll beat the deadline. There's a deadline for this project of December 31st. So we'll beat the deadline, so we'll be grandfathered in on our application to the state. Then on the green, so we've got several attractions that we're negotiating with. Now, I go to these trade shows that you people have never heard of, okay? And I brought a couple brochures. I'm not going to leave them with you, but I'm just going to show you the kinds of things that the people I talk to. So one of the people I'm talking to is this hologram zoo. And it's a building of holograms where you tie in with the school system, and kids from a 2-hour drive away would come on field trips to come to the hologram zoo. None of these are finalized deals because I don't have approval from the state. I can't cut a deal until I've got authority to cut a deal. Then, as part of the hologram zoo, if you remember T-Rex Cafe at the Legends, I would upscale the hologram zoo so it had that level of finish. So when I did the T-Rex restaurant in Kansas City, it would have that level of finish on the inside of the hologram zoo. Another potential, so I'm meeting with the president of LEGO in Florida next week at this convention's called IAPA, the International Association of Amusement Parks. I go every year, been going for 20 years. So I'm meeting with the president of AMF Bowling I'm meeting with people from Lego, I'm meeting with Hasbro, I'm meeting with Mattel. And so all of these companies have potential attractions that we could bring to Leavenworth. So we're probably too close to Crown Center to do a sea life aquarium, but there are other aquarium people we potentially could bring that could fit on site. There's a guy out of Oklahoma City that's got a skeletons museum. And so PETA, the People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, went to all of the zoos across the United States and said, hey, when an animal dies, we want you to dispose of that carcass ethically. So this guy has the contract with all the zoos. And so he has skeletons from over 400 different kinds of animals. And so it was pretty cool. It was in Orlando. I went to the one in Orlando. They lost their lease. And so they pulled back to Oklahoma City, but we're actively talking to them about coming to Kansas. But these are just some of the attractions, and then we've got a family entertainment attraction that would have like a Tiger Woods type miniature golf, maybe a family entertainment center with go-karts.
Ice skating?
We've got, so at IAPA, they have plastic ice skating.
Plastic.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about
On
this.
the plastic, yeah.
And so I go to this convention, and there's this woman in tights doing figure eights on this ice. But it's plastic ice. So I go up to her and I go, do you work for the company? She says, I live in Orlando. They just needed somebody who knows how to ice skate. And they're paying me $20 an hour to ice skate all day long on this plastic ice. I said, well, just be honest with me. What's it like to skate on plastic ice? She said 2 minutes. After 2 minutes of skating on this, you can't tell a difference between regular ice skating and plastic ice skating. And so then I talked to the company. To maintain plastic ice, you have to hose it off once a week. But the cost of operation is way low. The cost to construct is way low. You can put it outside in a plaza, and people can just come ice skate as an amenity for the community. So
Skate rink.
those are some of the attractions that we're talking to that would bring, and they'd all go on the football field site. And then I've got a hotel that would also go on the football field site. And depending on the attractions, I might be able to get the hotel to theme some of the rooms. So I haven't talked to these guys in Finland in a while, but they've got a Santa park. And you can have dinner with Santa Claus, make cookies with Mrs. Claus, write letters to Santa with the elves.
All year round?
All year round. All year round. And then the rooms, the hotel rooms are all themed for Santa. And so it'd be a unique attraction. None of these exist in the United States. The Santa parks don't exist in the United States. And so, again, those are the kinds of attractions that we bring.
Are you still looking at a museum for that site?
I'm
Are
sorry?
you still looking at a certain museum or Hall of Fame?
So I'm talking to a specific museum about that site. There are some challenges of expectations. What is star bondable, what's not star bondable. And so with some museums, I can pay for the building. So if you think about this room as a museum, I can pay for the 4 walls, I can pay for the ceiling, I can pay for the lights, I can pay for the carpet. I can't pay for the tables and chairs. So if you have exhibits, okay, I can't pay for the exhibits. I can pay for the building, but I can't pay for the exhibits. Well, some of these museums don't have the money to pay for the exhibits. And so it's some back and forth on some of the museums I'd like to get, because they're more fiscally constrained than I knew about. Because these museums exist currently, but they've lost their lease, they're looking to relocate. I thought they'd just move their exhibits. They can't just move their exhibits. So I'm working with the state on what we can do with those exhibits. And then on the park, you know, it's 12 acres, but you can do a lot of retail on 12 acres of ground. It's on 4th Street. 4th Street's the main drag. Everybody wants to be on 4th Street. And so, you know, Adam and Colby have talked to, we've already got interest from 94,000 square feet of retail. And we really don't have authority to do anything yet. And so we think we're going to be fairly successful in the retail. And then on the, back to the mall site, we've got the gas station under contract. We do not have, we're in discussions with the rest of the landowners. We don't have contracts yet, but we've got discussions and we're remain optimistic that we'll be able to redevelop everything that we show on 4th Street as well. And strong restaurant interest for restaurants that don't exist here already.
Yeah.
So it'd be an upgrade, you know, to the restaurant scene, if you will.
Definitely.
The hardest part about the project is nobody understands the fort. Okay? Not a lot of demographics, not a lot of spending, not a lot, you know, not being critical of the fort, there's just no information on the fort.
Yeah.
So when you say you got this whole new class coming in, yet,
They don't
which is a
understand it.
huge positive,
Right.
okay? Nobody understands that. But having said that, the fort is one of our assets. And then going to the green package, Adam and Colby create a packet like this that we email out to every possible tenant that we can think of that's not in Leavenworth that we could get to come to Leavenworth. And then we do a series of Zoom calls with their brokers. So you start with the real estate brokers, then you go to the head of real estate. So I'm going to use Old Navy as an example. So you call them, you send the packet to the real estate broker for Old Navy. Then if the real estate broker likes it, he refers it to the real estate. Then we have another conversation with the head of real estate. Then they do a site visit. After they do a site visit, then they take it to their full real estate committee, get approval. And then once we get to that point, we do a letter of intent, and then we convert the letter of intent to a contract. My goal would be, well, number one, right now, Starbond sunset, June 31st. So my goal would be to have the project done and financed. Done as in approved, not constructed.
Yeah.
But done and financed by June 30th. And that hopefully would start construction, you know, 3rd quarter of next year. And some of these buildings take 9 months to build, so spring of 2027, these things would open. The first stores would start to open. So in most cities, when I get up and talk, they go, how quick, how fast,
Yeah.
you know, who?
We always ask.
And so I'm trying to anticipate, you know, that the good news is we've got a short time frame. The bad news is we've got a short time frame.
Yep.
And so we're meeting the first short time frame because we've got the application in. Once the city reviews it and signs off, we'll submit it to the state, and then we're grandfathered. We have met the requirement that we've submitted an application before December 31st. Then the next deadline is, you know, June, the end of June. Questions?
Commission, questions?
Well, you definitely answered it with the, you definitely answered it with the time frame, and super excited about what's coming and what to be looking forward to. And so I definitely thank you all for, you know, just having a hand in it and moving this project forward. So I got a lot of memories up there at the plaza. So to see it come back alive is definitely going to be fulfilling.
For sure.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. No, I'm excited about it. I appreciate you taking interest in our community, and definitely want to extend thanks to Senator Klimt for making it a reality for us. So thank you.
Yeah, think our community will be big in support of this, and I know they will, because that's what we've talked about for years, to try to get something going there, and this sounds like a really wide range of things that different aspects of the community would be able to use, so I like that idea.
Ed?
Yeah, my wife used to work in the Sears up there for years and years. And she's always said, I don't know what they're gonna do with that thing. I don't think they can do anything with it. And when I saw it in the paper today, I started talking to her about it, you know. But she's excited about it, I'm excited about it. I've been telling people, come to this meeting, you know, because of the excitement, I think. Not only am I excited about it, a lot of people are, and I think it'll generate more excitement when it comes out in the paper tomorrow, or the next day.
Well, I want to thank you all. It does take a team. I've been in on these meetings, and it's exciting. Rick's energy is
Yeah.
contagious. I think between him and I, we could maybe blow the roof off this place. But you know, a lot of us grew up here in Leavenworth Plaza, and we remember it was where we went. The Brown Bears were there, movie theater was there, local shopping was there, as well as Abel's Field. I mean, that was our Friday Night Lights. I did my cheering my hardest there. I think football team is finally good again. So this is a big deal for us. This is a really big deal for our community. People ask us every day, I know the commission gets it, what are you doing with the plaza? What are you doing with Abel's Field? Well, tonight we have a solution, and tonight we have an answer. And I'm just really excited to move this city forward, and thank you for this opportunity.
And again, I can't think, from Senator Klemp to the mayor to Penny and Scott, the cooperation's been great. You know, some places don't want development, it's an uphill battle, and we've been welcomed with open arms, and really we're surprised by the reaction from the retailers and the hotel and people like that, hey, they're interested in Leavenworth.
And that's great. We love that. I'm excited for that, so.
We have recruited businesses for years and years, and it's our proximity to Kansas City, and people don't understand the impact of the fort, but the fort has a big impact as far as retail and dining especially, and with the things for kids to do. So I think that's important.
What I've learned a lot through this process is the term leakage. So many people leave Leavenworth to go to Kansas City for entertainment or to eat. And why? Because we don't have that. Well, now we have the opportunity to have that, and I couldn't be more thrilled. So if we don't have any more questions, we can go ahead and make a motion on the resolution.
I just want to thank Senator Clem for changing his mind from Wichita. Leavenworth's a lot more well-known in name anyway.
First city in Kansas.
Saying Wichita, everybody thinks it's Texas. So, thanks for getting him over here, changing his mind.
So,
I'll move.
move to, I don't think you have to read the whole thing, but.
No. I move approval of Resolution B 2411 in support of the Leavenworth Destination Development LLC's Star Bond District application to the Kansas Department of Commerce.
I second and thirded.
Okay, the motion's been made, second and thirded. So we'll begin voting with Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
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 Woohoo! Motion passes. Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. With that, I can call for an adjournment. May I make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right. Begin voting with Commissioner Hengla.
Aye.
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 All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.